All right, guys, what's up? Going live. Another episode of Sexual Mastery. Today, I'm going to be talking about semen retention, how it brings success. So thanks for joining me, guys. It's been a couple weeks. I've been really busy, been moving, moved into a new house here, and I'm going to be settled here for a little while. So I've been traveling all year. It's been a crazy year. I've been all over the world, different places traveling, and now I'm kind of settling down for the winter here in the US. So looking forward to that. And I just led a men's retreat actually out in outside of New York City, upstate New York. It's my first in-person retreat, so it went really well, and hoping to do a lot more of that in the future. So yeah, thanks everyone for joining. So semen retention and success. So what do Nikola Tesla, Muhammad Ali, Miles Davis, and Steve Jobs all have in common? They all understood the power of sexual energy, and they all managed their sexual energy. So as men, we have this conditioned sexual response of discharging our sexual energy, our arousal as it builds up. And as men, the semen is our creative energy. It's literally the essence of the body. The body puts all of these resources into creating sperm because, the priority of nature is to keep continuing life. But what's the point of ejaculating every time you have sex or every time you're aroused? If you're not going to be creating a child, it's a huge waste of all these resources and energy. And most guys in their teenage years, they think it's just this bottomless well of energy. Like, oh, I can just keep ejaculating and ejaculating. It's fine. But the well starts to dry up and you start to get into depletion and sexual issues arise. And so it's important that a man realizes just how powerful his semen is, just how powerful this sexual energy is, and learn to manage it. You can still have sex without ejaculating. You can still be fully sexually active and have full body orgasms without ejaculating. That's really what the art of sexual kung fu is all about. So one of the connections between practicing semen and success is this desire builds up within you. When you're a man, when you're holding on to this sexual charge, when you build up your semen, you have this strong, powerful masculine charge of energy. And this leads to desire, and it makes you more likely to take action. And when you channel that desire into the right things, this is the key here. A lot of guys, they're just controlled by this sexual drive, these sexual impulses, and it drives them to do unconscious things. But when you train your mind and your body to be able to handle these high levels of sexual energy that you build practicing semen retention, then you can channel that desire into anything that you want. This desire can drive you to be successful, basically, to build a business, to escape being a slave to 9-to-5 jobs and things like that. And this is something I noticed myself. I used to be a very lazy, unmotivated person. I just kind of sat around, not doing a whole lot with my free time. Just working minimum wage jobs and things like that, just floating through life. And once I started practicing semen retention, I became very, very driven in my life. I had this desire to just accomplish things, to make things happen. And I changed my whole life around. I figured out, how can I be abundant, basically? How can I stop being a slave to 9-to-5 jobs? How can I be self-employed, become an entrepreneur, and just manifest the life that I want, basically? So I just had this drive and this desire to accomplish the things that I wanted to do. And so your desire increases when you're practicing semen retention. And if you can channel this properly, you can make amazing things happen. So another aspect of semen retention relating to success is the magnetism. You become very magnetic when you practice semen retention because you build up this sexual energy. And sexual energy is magnetic in its nature. Someone who has a high level of sexual vitality, of sexual energy, they're very attractive to other people. A lot of what's driving our attraction to people is these subconscious things that our mind picks up on. We may think that, oh, well, they just have a nice looking face, a nice looking body, but a lot of that is actually our bodies reading, different aspects of their body. Like, maybe they have healthy skin, healthy hair, signs that their hormone levels are balanced and healthy. And we interpret this as physical attraction to that person. So you become very magnetic practicing semen retention. You literally, sexual energy in itself is very magnetic. It bonds things together. So when you harness that magnetic power of your sexual energy, when you're intending, when you have certain goals, certain intentions, and you're working towards them, you just magnetize these things right to you. It's very, very powerful. And so and your willpower increases significantly. For a man, practicing semen retention takes a certain degree of willpower. It takes willpower to escape this cycle that most men are stuck in of, stimulate, arouse, deplete sexual energy. And to go against that cycle, especially when you've been stuck in it for years and years, if you've been masturbating to porn every day, like I was doing in my teenage years, then you get stuck in these patterns, and it can be a bit difficult to break through them. It takes willpower, it takes daily work. And when you're able to do that, your willpower becomes extremely powerful. It's like a muscle, your willpower, and the more you work with it, the stronger it gets. And that's what happens when you practice semen retention. You have all of this willpower, and that carries over into every other aspect of your life. And anything you want to do, you have all this willpower to do it. You're going to be driven, and you're going to make things happen, basically. So there's a few questions being asked. I'm going to answer questions at the end, so stick around and I'll answer your guys' questions. So where am I at? Willpower increases significantly. Your confidence increases because these hormonal changes when you practice semen retention. What stone am I wearing? I've got tiger's, it's tiger iron. So it's a mix of tiger's eye and hematite, good grounding stone. But anyways, your confidence goes through the roof when you're practicing semen retention, because all these hormonal changes happen in your body. On day 7, testosterone peaks to about 150% of normal levels. Also, androsterone, a pheromone, it increases. So other people are becoming more attracted to you, and you just feel this confidence because you have this charge of energy. You feel very comfortable within yourself. You're not in depletion mode anymore. You're in abundance of energy mode, and you feel very confident in everything that you're doing, which is, of course, if you want to be successful and make things happen in your life, you really need confidence to go out into the world, to talk to people and to make things happen. So that's one of the relationships between semen retention and achieving success in your life. Another huge thing is you become more influential, you become more attractive to others, because you're holding this charge of sexual energy, and it's always very attractive to people. I talked about this a bit just a minute ago, how other people pick up on this magnetism, this field that you're generating. You're just pouring out this abundance of life force energy, and everyone around you picks up on that subconsciously, and they don't know what it is about you, but they just enjoy being in your presence. And so you become very influential. So any field that you're working in, whatever it is you're doing in your life, you will have much more success when you're working with this high level of sexual energy. And another thing is your creativity goes through the roof. Sexual energy is creative energy, and you can tap into this sexual power 24/7. It's always there. It's in your body. You can work with it at any time. Learn to channel it through your body and enhance your focus, your creativity, and to be very creative, basically. Sexual energy is creative energy. Everything is created by sexual energy. And so when you're building up this charge of sexual energy, you have an abundance of creativity to use in your life. So again, I used to, I'm a musician. I used to be a full-time musician, and I used to have to smoke a lot of weed and take stimulants and things to try to stay creative, right? But once I started practicing semen retention and sexual kung fu, I no longer needed substances, because I had all the energy I needed from just working with my sexual energy. I had all this creativity and all this drive to get things done, to finish my projects and just be creative in general. So working with semen retention makes you very, very creative. So if you're trying to start a business, be an entrepreneur, live a life of freedom, basically, you're going to have all these ideas, all these creative outlets for your energy to go in. And so you'll be very successful at whatever it is that you're doing. So just to sum things up, sexual energy it's the foundational energy that we have as humans. It's the most powerful energy that you can work with. And if you want to be successful in life as a man, you need to tap into and harness the power of your sexual energy. Stop wasting it. Stop throwing it away. Learn to tap into that, channel it, and transmute. You will be very, very successful in your life. And this is what so many of the greatest thinkers, the greatest achievers in history talk about, the importance of transmuting sexual energy. Again, Nikola Tesla, Muhammad Ali, the great boxer, Isaac Newton, he believed in managing his sexual energy, not just wasting it. And, he was a great scientist. So semen retention brings success, guys. And one thing I want to mention before I start answering questions, I'm hosting a free online training this weekend with a friend of mine, Nakula Das. We're going to be teaching more about these success principles, how how you can actually turn your sex drive into bringing you success in your life. So sign up for that. If you're on YouTube, there's a link to that in my latest videos. On Instagram, there's a link to that in my bio. It's the how to turn your sex drive into success online training. That's this weekend. It's going to be really awesome, guys. So, all right, I'm going to answer questions. Was Montauk Chia my main source of inspiration to start this journey of exploring sexual energy? Yes, he was. He got me turned on to sexual kung fu and all these practices. And I've studied with many other teachers as well, but yeah, Montauk Chia definitely got me started. And I have high respect for him and his system. It's hard to believe you've been a weed smoking, porn watching couch potato. Now you're a cool, fulfilled person. Hey, thanks, brother. I mean, if I can do this, anyone can do it, you know? I did 1 hour Qigong session with your videos yesterday. That's awesome, brother. Qigong is amazing. I've got some guided Qigong practices on my YouTube. Do full body orgasms come from prostate orgasm and expand in the whole body, or full body orgasm come from the body? There's many different types of orgasm. Men can have prostate orgasms, which become full body orgasms, but you can also have full body orgasm just from, regular penis-based sex as well. And really what it is that you build up the sexual energy and you move it through the channels, move it through the body, and full body orgasm. So it's not necessarily from prostate stimulation. Do I have any case studies from my course, or can I talk about them for a bit? Yeah, I've had, there's a lot of testimonials on my website about people who've gone through my course. I've seen a lot of people make major transformations in their life. One friend of mine, I was working with him, and he was a business coach, right? He was a full-time coach, and really great guy. He did great work, but by doing this work, he saw that he wasn't really fulfilled. He was just kind of doing what he thought he needed to be doing to make money, and he completely changed throughout the few months I was working for him, or that he was working with me. And he ended up becoming a spiritual teacher, basically. Totally changed his whole brand, quit his coaching business, and became a spiritual teacher. So totally changed. Like, he was a different person by the end of it. He's like grew a beard. He just totally changed his energy. Other people have, again, gone from like experiencing premature ejaculation to having complete control of their ejaculation and being able to last hours in bed. This is what happens when you practice sexual kung fu. You become a master of this. People talked about how much more energy they have from the practices I teach, because this carries over into every other area of your life. When your energy is radiant, when you're powerful in the bedroom, you're powerful in all areas of your life. So lots of transformations from students who've gone through my course. So just answering questions right now. How do you cycle the energy? The most simple way is to work with the microcosmic orbit. It's main energy channel up the back, down the front of the body. First, you clear that channel, because you need to clear of any obstructions before you start moving your sexual energy through it. And it's as simple as, once you have a clear pathway, it's as simple as breathing that energy up, using your intention, your awareness. And so you can use some muscular contractions to help in the beginning as well. But it's as simple as working with the microcosmic orbit. And I go deep into this in my trainings. Hank Russell has a question. Yeah, feel free to send in your question and I'll answer it. What do I think about Montauk Chia? I think he's a pioneer, and he helped bring Taoist practices to a large part of the world. And I don't resonate with everything he teaches and everything he says, but I think that Montauk Chia is amazing. He's a great teacher, and he's really made incredible progress in bringing this work to the world. Do I always use a timer while meditating? No, I don't. Sometimes I do. I meditate for about an hour every day, and it helps me just like not worry about, okay, how long have I been doing this? And I'm just like, boom, an hour, and I sit and I do my meditation. So sometimes I use a timer, but if I'm out in nature or whatever, I just do my thing, just meditate. What do you advise to people who have sexual addiction due to an early sexual abuse? Or early sexual experience? Yeah, sexual abuse. Okay, so clearing this pattern from your body is very important. When we experience traumas, we hold these patterns in our body. It becomes an energetic blockage, and we keep acting it out until we've resolved that pattern. So there's many ways that you can go about resolving these things. I love Qigong because it's a self-healing practice. So you can use Qigong practice, you practice daily, and slowly you're able to wear these old patterns down and create new patterns. So that's one way to approach it. That's my preferred way, is Qigong meditation practices, breath work. I teach a transformational breath work practice in my course, which is really just totally clears you out, helps you to clear patterns. It's a very powerful practice. You can go to healers, maybe like a Reiki healer, an energy healer, acupuncturist, to help you clear out these old traumatic patterns. So I hope that's helpful for you. Does getting in a hot tub or hot bath ruin your progress with semen retention? Also, does the type of underwear you wear have any effect on semen retention? Good question. So hot temperatures are not supposed to be great for semen production and can kill sperm. I mean, I like to get in the sauna every now and then. Sometimes I go to hot springs and I don't really worry about it. But I take cold showers though regularly, and I do ice baths a lot. So, don't take hot showers every day basically, but don't worry about it too much. Your semen's always going to be like aging and the body reabsorbs it. So don't be too anal about it. As far as underwear, that can affect your fertility. If your junk is like really up, like tight against your body, constricted all day, then yeah, that can affect your fertility and your semen production. Personally, I don't wear underwear the majority of the time. So if you're going to wear underwear, wear something loose where your boys can hang free. What to do if you get the urge to PMO, if you get the urge to look at porn, masturbate, and ejaculate. So you need to do something to break that pattern. So you have that urge, maybe let's say that you're in this pattern of, okay, every night at 7 p.m. I've been watching porn, masturbating, and ejaculating. Well, when it comes to that time, do something different. Go to the gym at that time, or go for a run, go for a hike, or call up some friends, play sports, or practice Qigong instead. So it's about having something new to replace that habit that you've had with something else that's going to make you feel good. So you need an action plan, basically. It's like, okay, when I get this urge to look at porn, then I'm going to, for example, you could do 100 push-ups, or you could go to the gym for an hour, go for a hike, hang out with friends, whatever. So you need something to break that pattern, something that you do instead of masturbating and ejaculating. Hi, I'm on 100th day of semen retention. Excuse me. I'm on 100th day of semen retention. Would you say that I have plateaued in my semen retention journey, or is there still room to grow with benefits and well-being? So in my experience, the benefits plateau about 2, 3, maybe 4 weeks in, and it doesn't really get higher, but it's not a bad thing. Like, you still have like a high level of energy and everything. So it doesn't really matter. Like, what do you feel? Do you want to keep going? Then keep going. If you're feeling irritated and on edge all the time, if you're not feeling good, then maybe not. So it's up to you. Just don't get too obsessed with like what benefits are happening, whatever. Because for me, again, semen retention is the lifestyle. So I'm not like, oh, am I feeling this semen retention superpower today or whatever. It's just like I feel great most of the time because semen retention is my lifestyle. So I don't worry about these things too much. I hope that that's helpful for you. Okay, any other questions? Feel free to send them in. I've had a vasectomy and plan on reversing it. I do Qigong and acupuncture. Advice? Advice for what? Are you having a specific problem there? Women masturbating, is there an energy loss? Not particularly. Women are pretty fortunate in that they typically don't lose energy through orgasm. A clitoral orgasm can be draining for a woman, but not nearly as draining as an ejaculation is for a man. So yeah, basically women can, for the most part, masturbate as much as they want. I guess the important thing is what are you focusing on at the point of orgasm? If you're like really sending your energy out to someone, you could lose some energy that way. But basically, men lose energy through ejaculation. Women lose energy through menstruation. And so there's things women can do to make their loss of energy through menstruation significantly less. Yes, the live stream is rewatchable. It will be in my YouTube channel. What is my honest opinion about homosexuality? I have no problem with anyone being. Everyone has their own sexual preference, their own expression of love and desire. I don't care what yours is. It's fine. So yeah, I am not against homosexuality. Hi, I'm on semen retention. I have high energy, but my desire for porn and sex is almost completely gone. Is it still working? That's not a problem, right? I mean, not desiring porn is a great thing. Not desiring sex isn't necessarily a bad thing. Like if you're like in a relationship with someone and you're not desiring having sex with them, then that can be an issue to relationship. But if you're just like single by yourself, not desiring sex, that's fine. It means that you're not focused on sex 80% of your life. 80% of your thoughts aren't directed at sex like most men are. So it's not a bad thing. It just means that your priorities have shifted, your focus has shifted, and your energy shifted. You're not, trying to reach out and grab sex and porn like a lot of guys are. They say that semen retention is like stopping urine flow midstream. Holding semen is not even close. I can hold urine easily, but not semen. Any advice? So I think you're talking about ejaculation control. The key to ejaculation control is not at the point of no return at which the prostate starts spasming and the fluid moves, because at that point, energy loss is mostly inevitable. The key is to constantly draw the energy upward so that instead of building to a genital orgasm, it builds to a full body orgasm. It's a completely different experience of orgasm and one you have to open up to. There's a lot of preparatory work, which I go into in my course, but yeah, the genital-based orgasm and the full body orgasm are quite different. Can semen retention lead to prostate cancer? I have not seen, there's like studies where they try to say that regular ejaculation prevents prostate cancer, but these studies were so like, there's so many variables that weren't taken into account in them that I'm not convinced. And personally, a lot of my teachers were, in their 60s and 70s, they've been practicing semen retention for decades, some of them, and never had any prostate issues. So 1 in 2 men has prostate issues at some point. So it's important that you keep your prostate healthy, but I don't think that there's a correlation to semen retention and prostate cancer. You can clear out your prostate intermittently, ejaculate once a month or something like that if you're really worried about it. Are you a Jedi? I'm a Padawan. I'm a Jedi in training. Always the beginner. Would you recommend a period of celibacy as part of the process of clearing your sexual energy? This can be very helpful to some people. It depends. Like if you're running into like recurring patterns in relationships and things like that, then it's a sign that you haven't resolved something that's within yourself. So sometimes a period of celibacy can be good for you if you're trying to break patterns or really just connect with yourself and your sexual energy. For example, I was basically celibate for about 2 years of my life when I was studying sexual kung fu, really developing mastery over these sexual energy practices. And it was a great thing for me because once I engaged in relationship, once again, my dynamics between the opposite sex and myself completely changed, completely shifted. So, it depends. Celibacy can be good, but it's not necessary. Should you be rubbing the testicles during NoFap? Last time I did a long stretch, and they hurt like hell when I finally did. I think testicle massage is a great idea because it can help prevent energy from getting stagnant here, and just in general, it's good for your hormonal production. So, but I think the most important thing for practicing semen retention is working with the microcosmic orbit and practicing testicle breathing. And exercising your pelvic floor. Exercise this area of your body. It's a use it or lose it type of situation. How did I find out about semen retention? I found out about it. I was reading a lot of spiritual books. I heard about brahmacharya, the concept of retaining your sexual essence. So that's how I first got introduced to it, and read Montauk Chia's books, which was a much more practical application of semen retention in a modern lifestyle for me. Have I ever reached enlightenment? That's a word that people like to throw out a lot. What do you mean by enlightenment? I've had very incredible transformative experiences during meditation, during practice, during, various aspects of my life. But, what is enlightenment? That's a very broad term people like to throw out. So, reason I'm going back to porn is to watch beautiful girls having sex so that I feel that beautiful girls like to have sex. Any advice for that? Well, when you look at porn, you're wreaking havoc on your brain chemistry, and you're kind of gluing yourself to these images, these pornographic images. And in my opinion, it's very unbalancing, so that's just my take on it. I don't recommend looking at porn personally. Go out and meet beautiful women in person, don't just watch them on a screen. But I say that semen retention and sexual kung fu are better alternatives for artificial reproduction control because one may use condom but still lose energy. You can definitely use sexual kung fu as a natural birth control, but just be careful. It takes a high degree of skill to do this. How long does it take for sexual kung fu practices to show results? Pretty quickly. You'll notice a difference in a few days when you're doing the practices, but don't. It takes longer for some people, but I mean, you notice a significant difference right away when you're doing these practices. Do you have some guidelines how often men is maximally allowed to ejaculate without a significant drop of energy? Good question. For most men, I would say it depends on your age. If you're in your early 20s, you could probably get away with once a week if you really wanted to. Personally, I would choose to go longer. 2 weeks to a month, I think, is a good guideline for most men if you want to still ejaculate occasionally without significant energetic loss. What is your view on Lgtb people? Sex works the same as straight people? Yes, I mean, sex is just an exchange of energy. And we all have male-female dynamics within us. So even in a same-sex relationship, there's always a male-female dynamic, yin-yang dynamic. So it's the same. I know I'm always pretty much addressing towards the straight, a straight exchange, but it's the same energetics for all people. Do cold showers actually help when you feel the need to release? Definitely. If you're really aroused and stimulated, a cold shower will help you cool your energy back down. I recommend taking cold showers every day for sure. Any tips how to stop wet dreams? I've made several videos of this on my YouTube, but just to sum it up, wet dreams, number one cause is unfulfilled sexual desire. So if you're like having all these sexual thoughts and there's no completion to them, then you're probably your body's going to be like, well, I'm going to have this orgasm when he's asleep. Also, sleeping in a room that's really hot, I found, has caused wet dreams, or like a heavy blanket or something like that. So taking a cold shower before sleep helps. Meditating before sleep, doing the microcosmic orbit, avoid eating heavy meals before going to bed. These things are helpful for preventing wet dreams. African rhino helps with endurance. Is that okay? Sure. If that's something you want to take, then go for it. All right, guys, I'm just wrapping up here. Thank you, everyone, for joining me. So how does semen retention impact male to female transgender people? Honestly, I don't know. I have no experience with this, but if you still have testicles, then I think semen retention is going to be the same and beneficial for you if you still have the same equipment, we'll say. All right, guys, going to jump off. Thank you, and thanks for joining me. Again, sign up for my Turn Your Sex Drive into Success workshop this weekend. It's free, and you can sign up for that. There's a link in my Instagram bio, and there's a link on my recent YouTube videos. All right, take it easy, guys. I will see you soon.